Hey, good afternoon. It is almost 5 o'clock and I'm right across the street from the M-Sphere Mall at Asia Copy. I've shown this place a bunch of times, but I really enjoy coming in here. It's a large family and extended family. There must be 10 people sitting at different copiers and computer screens. It's a loud tuk-tuk. I just got some passport photos. Now, I did bring 2 shirts. There is all kinds of talk online, and I actually had a buddy who ran into this problem. He did his 90-day nano in country here, and then he came back for the 1-year extension, whatever it was, 90 days later, after the money was in the bank account, that type of thing. And they actually called him out on, this is the same photo. And I don't know what difference there is in a 3-month-old photo, but he had to go down and take a new photo in the basement there at Chiang Watanan, Bangkok. So maybe it's a little overkill, but I just did 4 passport photos, 2 of them in one shirt and 2 in the other, just for whatever I have coming up at immigration. I'm not going to get called out on this is last year's photo. I do believe, because I made, I don't remember, 14 when I first got here 3 years ago. And to be honest, I've been using those photos ever since I heard from my buddy that he got jammed up on that same photo deal. And I have seen them bring up my whatever it is online, and it shows me in the same shirt, collared shirt, and it's the same photo. So if they wanted to be nitpicky, they might say, this is the same picture from 2 years ago. Go get another picture. So just mix it up with different shirts if that's going to be an issue. And I don't really bother making 14 photos at a time. The few times I need them, I just make a couple. And even all those photos from 3 years ago, I still use them on the occasional visa I need to put in for in a neighboring country. 99% of that is happening online now, but even taking a picture of one of those passport photos for, say, Vietnam, they have the same rules. It has to be a shoulder photo, no smiling, white background, on and on. So I just use my phone and take a picture of one of those older passport photos and we're good to go. Another tip, just daily living, I ran into SCB to get some bank statements, and I was number 22 in the queue. This is at the M Quartier Mall. It's always busy in there. That's my home branch and where I open my account, so it kind of helps to go to your home branch, but you don't necessarily have to for something like statements. Finally, I gave up after waiting 40 minutes, and I walked down here to the M Quartier. They have, off the top of my head, the yellow bank, what's that? Krung Thai, an SCB, a Bangkok bank. I did not see a K bank, but there are 4 or 5 banks, not on the mall side, but off to the left is a separate tower of businesses, and there's a financial floor up on the 2nd floor. Nobody in line. I walked right in, got my statements and my certification letter, and I was in and out of there in 10 minutes. So if you're down here in the Sukhumvit area, check out the M-Sphere Mall. Compared to Terminal 21 and M Quartier, those can be some killer lines. And here's Asia Copy. You can do all kinds of things in there. I sent a line. I had to my TM30, my landlord fills out saying I live in XYZ condo for the next number of months. I had that line forwarded to the line here at Asia Copy and printed that out. When you go to immigration, they want hard copies of that TM30, and they're not interested in looking at a PDF on your phone. So just throw everything at them in hard copy. If they don't want it, they'll throw it back. There's some kind of silly things like, well, they're not silly. These is the rules. And they want a handwritten map of your condo. So you draw sukhumvit and draw Soi 26 and draw a little box saying that's my condo. And 9 out of 10 times I've had them throw it away And last year at immigration, I didn't include it. I had it in my little accordion file with all my different paperwork, and she handed me a blank piece of paper and said, draw a hand-drawn map to your condo. And I pulled it out of the accordion file. She said, oh, roger that, good to go. But just throw everything at them, and they'll throw away what they don't need. And as you'll hear the reports that every IO immigration officer is different, this is true. And some of them are a little grouchier than others. So if you have to do something like draw that hand-drawn map, 99% of the time she'd probably let you do that sitting right at the desk. But if you have two things you messed up on, especially if she calls you out on, say, the passport photos, these are the same from 2 years ago, well, then you have to go down the basement and come back, get in queue, and if you're doing it on your own without an agent, the agents just skip right in front of you, one after another, with stacks of 10 or 20 passports often. They'll just be like 20 Chinese folks sitting there in the chairs, and they walk up to an immigration officer and hand them all 20, and that might take her 20 or 30 minutes to get through that pile. And if that's the person who sent you down for another picture, well, you're waiting in line behind all that action. And it's not even 5 o'clock. It's really dark and starting to sprinkle, so make for shelter, unless you don't mind getting caught in a huge rainstorm. It doesn't give you much notice around town. Somebody's screaming up there on the, I think it's a little kid, on the skywalk. I'll watch myself crossing the street here. Yeah, see, it's already sprinkling harder. I do have an umbrella, and I'm one block from O'Shea's, so I might use that as an excuse to duck in and get some Thai food. And staying in the same category of, we'll call it Bangkok travel hacks, there are little police booths. You'll hardly even notice it. There's one right by the base of the M Quartier Mall, kind of across the street from Sukhumvit Soi 24. And every now and then you'll see the cop jump out. They're in there manning the little booth and looking at the CCTV cameras that are everywhere around town. But every now and then you'll see them jump out and start directing traffic. All right, let him go by. I was waiting to cross the street on Soi 24, and you really don't want to run across on a red light. There's just cars and bikes coming out of nowhere. And the officer was just waving traffic through here on Sukhumvit for a long time. I mean, I stood there for whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 minutes even. And then finally I gave up and went up and over the train station. And I looked down, and then here came some dignitaries, probably royal family. It was a couple of whatever they were, Harleys or BMWs, and 2 or 3 police cars and a couple of Mercedes. So I think what they do, and this is just a guess, but that officer stops the light. So it's never going to turn green when you're standing there trying to come across Soi 24. He just has it so Sukhumvit flows, and whoever's coming down from, say, the MBK area, they're just all green lights all the way because they turn them on that way. So when you see somebody directing traffic, you might want to look for another way to cross the street, or just be patient, and you might see some royalty come by. I guess it's no different than a fire truck in the US. When he's zooming through traffic, he changes all the lights green. There's kind of a famous YouTube clip when President Obama visited here in Bangkok and was coming down Sukhumvit. It was just bumper to bumper traffic. Even this is very light traffic right now for almost 5 o'clock, but it was just solid traffic. Then you just heard all kinds of whistles, and the traffic just came to a complete standstill, and Sukhumvit was just empty. And then here came the Beast and the motorcade and the whole deal, roared through town. I think King Rama IX was sick at the time and in the hospital up at, I can't remember, it might have been Chulakorn up by MBK. And so the President, Obama, went to visit him there. But yeah, they just completely stopped traffic. They don't really do that here. Now, I don't know. They don't announce this is the king or the queen or the king's cousin. So I'm sure there's different levels of how they handle traffic. And I've never seen everything come to a complete standstill. No, I take that back. I was at the Ekamai bus, or Ekamai BTS, and it looks down on a Wat, a Buddhist temple, Wat, and I was kind of taking a picture because a bunch of police cars and sirens and all were coming in, and out of nowhere, I'll call them like Secret Service agents. They were all dressed in plain clothes. They were up on the BTS and came over, and they're like, hey, no pictures. So they're not really down on taking video and pictures of, in this case, it was the Queen's mother who was going to the Wat for some Buddhist day. And I'm not having any beers today. I've had it out with the guys 2 or 3 days in a row. That is the Robin Hood here on Sukhumvit 33/1. And just right over here. Robin Hood's good. I'll hang out in there once in a while, but I'll hang out at O'Shea's probably 20 times for every one time I go over to Robin Hood. It's just my old school pick and my familiar pub. And it's starting to rain now. You can see the rain guard is pulled over on the rooftop bar. At least covers half of it. And I timed that absolutely correct. If I was 5 minutes slower, it is pouring cats and dogs. So when you start getting those initial little sprinkles, don't count on it just misting like that for hours. Run for the nearest shelter. It was a pretty good time earlier. I just had a pizza and was hanging out at O'Shea's, but I came home and got a bunch of paperwork done and some things on YouTube, and I just got called away. So it's the rare heading over to O'Shea's twice in one day. No big deal. I wasn't gonna have a beer today, but when different friends come into town that live all around Thailand, yeah, I'll stop by and say hello. Let's walk back over. It's a little after, if I didn't mention, 9 p.m. This is what Sukhumvit's looking like. And this is what I was talking about earlier. You can see it's a green light, so still be careful going across these crosswalks, but it's easier to go across here and then up that set of stairs. Then you're right on the skywalk in between the Prompong BTS. You can go up and over behind me, but it's just a little bit more of a hassle. So we're standing here for minutes and minutes, and right over there you can see that police box with a billboard under it, and he was standing in the middle of the road directing traffic, and cars just continued to turn. This little green light never happened. Flipped that switch, so it was just clear sailing down Sukhumvit for, I'm sure it was about 10 minutes, because I got up and over, and I was like way over there before I saw the motorcade. You'll see all kinds of dignitaries going around town in a Mercedes, and they'll have the flag of Peru or whoever flying. That's the rare honking, but I think that tuk-tuk was pulling out right in front of him. So yeah, that's more for safety. But these guys, I don't know, maybe some higher ranking ambassadors, if there is such a thing, they get a couple of police cars, or don't know. But it is not uncommon at all for like this car right here to be flying their country's colors, or it'll be all wrapped up and put away, which, if I had to guess, like in the military, when I was a duty driver driving the captain or admiral around, I had that flag going, but it was tucked away if the 1-star or captain of the ship was not in the car. I've been having fun answering comments, and I put out a budget video a while back talking about the cost of foods and all. O'Shea's, where I'm heading, the average meal there is going to be, you can get a big portion of Thai food. That's the other consideration when folks say, I'm just going to eat local and you're crazy for eating Western food and on and on. For one thing, I think that's just a small minority of people that can only eat Thai food every day. Well, maybe Boone. Boone loves Somtam. I'm sure she could eat that every single day. But for the rest of us, even if you are going to try to keep it local and you're going to hit the street food stands or Terminal 21 food courts or any food court, they're very, very small portions. Not that I need to be eating a 4-size portion, but we're just a little more conditioned, where I am, to kind of eat one big meal a day. And it's going to be a big old huge plate of pad krapao or pad thai chicken with big chunks of chicken. If you get it on the street or some of these little food courts, you'll be lucky if there's 3 little fingernail sized bites of chicken in there. And yeah, it's going to be $1.50. But you tell me how many of those are going to fill you up. I doubt if the answer is one. And then the other thing you have to be a little careful of, I was talking to a guy in the comments, and he said, oh, I love all the different pork meals on the street and all. And that's fine, but I kind of relayed a story to him that something happened to me. And I was asking him, yeah, there's pork, and then there's pork. There's all kinds of pieces on a pig. And in the case of some of these street food stands, again, some of it is delicious, great food, but some of the cuts, I was somewhere, and Boone watched me order. I thought it was just like chicken on a stick, chicken satay, whatever you want to call it, and I'm eating it. She's kind of eyeballing me, and I gave her the old, this tastes a little off, and she says, well, let me give it a try, and she goes, no, that tastes perfectly right for chicken longs. I didn't know you liked chicken long. I do not, for the record. So as far as those $1 and $2 meals, sure, you could be getting a delicious smoked pork shoulder, or you could be getting a pork penis. Up to you. And there's O'Shea's and a nice little crowd hanging out on the patio this nice cool evening. It rained until 2 or 3 hours ago, so it's enough to wash down the city and kind of cool things down. I'm going to kick back on the patio and enjoy the evening on Monday. They close at midnight. I don't know if I'll be here till then, but 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, and the occasional late night rugby game or whatever it is that starts at 1 in the morning, then they'll stay open till 3 or 4. But for the most part, these British pubs, the Royal Oak down the way, the Robin Hood right to the right of me, over on the left, the Laughing Tiger, they all kind of operate more on restaurant hours. So here it is, one of my favorite people watching spots in the city. The smoking patio, I guess, but most people still even kind of step out in the street here to smoke, but whatever. If you're sitting here, somebody might be smoking next to you. That's what it is. But I like to kick back here and catch the breeze and just watch the sights go by. So thank you so much. All right, thank you. And there goes the bill. If you're, a couple of people have asked me that have never came over, you're gonna get your bin and they'll just keep changing out the receipt. So I just ordered a beer. It's happy hour all day on Monday. It's 95 baht. Used to be 90, but hey, it's Bangkok inflation. And the next beer, they'll just take this receipt, throw it away, and a new one will come in, 95 times 2. Now, if you're in the bar, oftentimes before 7 p.m. on a regular day, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., Monday's happy hour all day. And I think here they have been doing happy hour on the roof all evening Thursday, I think, to encourage people to go up and watch the music. I don't know if that's still going on. But at, say, 2 minutes till 7, they might come around and say, hey, how many more happy hour beers do you want? I think there's supposed to be a limit of 2. I'll sometimes say, yeah, put 3 down there and just hang out for another 2 hours. Not heavy-duty drinking, but might as well get them at happy hour price and just give them a nice tip. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. And I'll be out running around Bangkok, Thailand, my favorite city in the world. So hopefully you'll follow along. We'll see you later.